Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. The title of today's show is They're Going to Be June Gloom for Bitcoin. We're going to look at what history can tell us, what the current charts are looking like, what my plans are for crypto, and a whole bunch more. Before we do that, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people, and of course does help support the channel, as does your wonderful comments that you take the time to write. I take the time to read them and respond. If you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. You'll be updated whenever there is a new episode. So let's look at Bitcoin historical returns here for June. And as you can see, overall, it's been about minus 0.25%. Okay, so June has been a very sideways, dumpy month. However, if we look at let's just look at the last 5 years back to 2020, and there's only been one green month there for June. So for June, historically, if you'd sold at the beginning of June or the end of May and then bought back at the end of June, then you would likely be up in the last 2023 being the only exception. However, in that case, it was, I think the open was 27,000 and the close was 30. So it would only be a $3,000 difference. You'd have to buy back a bit higher. And I guess that's why they call it sell in May and go away. But in this case, it would have been sell at the end of May and then go away rather than sell at the beginning. If you'd sold at the beginning of May, you would have missed out on awesome returns there. We saw a beautiful plus 10% for the month of May. So sell in May and go away should be rephrased, sell for June and go away, because June tends to be a sideways dumpy month there, and you can just go and relax, have a holiday, and pretty much buy back lower than what you bought it for the last 5 years. Now, a couple other stats for June is that overall, the low of the month for June historically has come in on average on the 13th, which would tend to indicate that the low has not been in yet for June. However, if you just go halving years, just the halving years of post-halving years of 2025, and we haven't had 2025 yet, but 2021, 2017, and 2013, the average is a bunch higher than that. It's actually the 21st. And so in a post-halving year, the average low is the 21st. And just on the last 5 years previous that we've seen there is actually a lot more than the 13th as well. That's sitting around 20 as well. So it's very interesting that just the last 5 years, the average is the 20th of June. Post-halving year is the 21st. And every month, bull or bear market across the history of Bitcoin is the 13th. So most recently it's been, so let's just say history does repeat and we do get a low more towards the end of the month. That would indicate that the low possibly is not in yet. And of course, so far for the low of June, it's about $103,000 for the low of June at the moment, 103,659. So that's the low of June, which would indicate that we haven't quite seen. And I would say the likely probability is that we will see a lower amount for Bitcoin in June. However, this cycle has been a little bit different. I know some of you may argue that, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, that we saw the halving earlier, that obviously we had a bit of a pump in May and April. We had that dump in January and that sideways low. You know, this cycle is a little bit out of sync with previous cycles. Maybe it's a little bit accelerated, which could mean also, are we going to have an earlier end to the cycle? We'll talk about that in a future show, of course. And I'm going to do this also for altcoins as well. The Friday show most likely, or Friday or Saturday show, I'm going to break this down also for altcoins to see how altcoins performed in the month of June, because we've seen Bitcoin mostly go sideways this month and finished well on May, but altcoins have taken a little bit of a pummeling. But if you have a look, let's just have a look here. I know we went over the stats here, but let's have a look at the previous Junes here, okay, for June. And so if you actually look at 2024, we opened at 67,000 and we closed at 62,000 there. So sideways dumpy month for June. If we go back to June of 2023, again, a little bit of a sideways month there in 2023. It closed positive 3,000, just a few percent there. So it opened at 27,000 and closed at 30,000. Now, 2022 was a bear market, so I've kind of not included that in the stats, overall stats, because that was, you know, pretty intense. What did we see overall for Bitcoin in 2022? We saw quite a large drop of 37% there. Okay, so I haven't really, that's a bear market. So that's our bear market year. 2023 is a bull market, 24 a bull market, 25. We think we're still in a bull market. I would say we're still in a bull market. And of course, 2021 and 2020 and 2019 were bull market, and 2018 was bear market. Okay, so it's important to see how that's played out. So we did see a whopping 37% drop in 2022. That was a bear market. So 21 there, of course, as we go back to June of 2021 there, we saw an open of 37 and only a close of 35. So it was only a drop of about 2,000. And 2020, that if we go back to 2020 here, that was just a 3% minus, a negative 3% there. So you can kind of see how things are shaking out for Bitcoin for June there. And so will it be interesting to see, and interesting enough, if we actually let's go back and have a look at the total market cap there. And as you can see, the Bitcoin June average low of the month all year is 13th. And just on my X profile there, I posted that, just post-hubbing is the 21st. So it tends to be the middle, you know, the second to third week of June, that low tends to come in, and then it kind of starts to pop up back up as we start coming into July. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw something similar there also for Bitcoin's price action there. But let's have a look at total 2 on the weekly. We do have the tribal trade signal there. We do have a pre-warning sell signal there. The red dot is generally, that's been a good time to get out every time the red dot, and you can see the yellow triangle fires off just before. Sometimes it fires a little early. This time was 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks early, and so that's tended to be my signal to get out. And I did do an update on the 30th of May. How about that? The 30th of May here, as you can see in the Discord, I even did a live session, showed how the indicator on the weekly time frame has only failed once in the last 5 years. That's fired off, and how I sold my weekly portfolio and got out. And so this decision, based off historically, you know, obviously we could get a green close, but also I might end up buying back in, you know, when the June low is. I'm not saying that I'll stay out of the market until right till the end of the month. I will look for, first of all, let's see how this plays out. We don't even have a red dot yet. We just have that yellow triangle there. And this is the total crypto market cap. So this includes Bitcoin and everything there. If you look at total 2, we've got the same situation. We're under the 200-day moving average. We're down, cooling down at the moment there. Total 3, which is the total altcoin. This is all the altcoins. This is all the altcoins minus Ethereum. We do have the red dot. So we have the red dot there for that, and we had the red dot a week ago for these are all the altcoins minus the top 10 there as well. And then if we look at USDT dominance, there is a soft buy signal there, which isn't good, obviously, because that means that people are starting to move back into USDT, although we don't have the green dot yet, which has generally been the time to get out of everything. So again, I've kind of front run the market there and getting out of crypto there and waiting to see what happens with all of the charts and indicators there. And if we look also, we can check out Bitcoin dominance also there and see what that is showing. And again, that has a red signal there, and that generally has been a good time to be out of altcoins. And, people are getting out of altcoins and more into Bitcoin at the moment. But that's only a little drop there. But you can see the altcoins have taken a little bit of a pounding there overall in the market. So there's some interesting things. If you want to get access to the tribal trades indicator, one indicator to rule them all. And as you can see how accurate this indicator has been, even there it is on the weekly time frame. We've got that soft sell signal, and you can see how accurate it would have gotten you out and then gotten you back in at the bottom, gotten you out at the top, back in the bottom there. How accurate this indicator has been. One indicator to rule them all. You can find that only in the Tribal Trades Discord, and you can see the wins have been stacking up. I love Too Early Rod. I think you need to change your name there to Right On Rod. I think he takes profits, but he seems to think that he takes them a little bit too early. But nobody lost money taking profits. Nikola Tesla is always crushing it in the Discord. MS, Izzy Lanes with some great trades there. Brett there with some good wins for Brett. Izzy Lanes again. Liddell JD, the buy signal with Mark's indicator, that there it is again, winning, just helping people out using this indicator to get these wins there. Nikola Tesla, Izzy Maddox there with a nice win. Y Ward there with 142% win. Great job there. Donut, the Thunder from down under, crushing it there with some good trades. Nikola Tesla again. And I do like how Nikola Tesla shows how he got his wins using the indicator there. You can see the sell signal that it gave off to help with the wings. That's very helpful to the Discord there, especially people who are coming in new. Praxi on the Tesla call that we gave on stocks. There were some good wins there on Tesla. We do stocks and crypto. And of course, we had the live session yesterday where thank you Tribal Trader for the live trading and a nice win there with Tau. We had a good win there using the signals with Tau and using some other indicators. I don't just rely on the signals on their own, by the way. I rely on multiple signals there to give me, you can see actually on my actual personal Bitcoin chart, there's a lot more going on. This is the one that I give to you so that your eyes don't bleed from the mess of indicators that I use to help me get my entries and exits. But obviously the Tribal Trades indicator is a big part of that. If you'd like to get access to that, below in the description of this video, you might need to click the more button. That will pop out. And the top link there, you can get access to the Tribal Trades Discord, one Discord to rule them all. As you can see, there's live trading sessions with me and live educational sessions as well. We have another session today. Usually we do them on Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to look at doing one today, probably around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join me in that session. And of course, all the different channels, the stock plays, the crypto plays, trading signals, charts, analysis, education, of course, entertainment, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Okay. And that's all we have time for today. As always, thanks for tuning in. And until the next episode, or until I see you in the Discord, happy trading.